This is going to be a twin flame, soulmate, or deep soul connections reading. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the effects that Mercury retrograde may have on your deep soul connection. So what I'm thinking we're going to do is have a conversation between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So we're going to have the divine feminine on this side over here and the divine masculine over here. Now remember, this is not about gender, okay? We all have masculine and feminine energies. You may even watch this reading for your own masculine and feminine energies. But essentially, we're going to have a conversation and we're going to see what each of you wants each other to know, how you're feeling, and we're going to take it from there. So let's kind of start off by looking at the overall message for this conversation, because Mercury retrograde is a time of revision, right? Redoing, revisiting, revising. This is a time when people want to come back and they want to have conversations. They want to test the waters. And because we've got the holidays coming up, this is a time when people like to reach out, right? And we feel the need to reach out and try to go another round, but I do caution you on that, because ultimately your person needs to come correct, and so do you. So let's take a look at the overall messages right now for this Mercury retrograde. Oh, I thought that card was going to slide off and it didn't, so it must be this one. The force of love and creation. Oh my goodness, number 44. If you've been seeing number 44, this could be a sign for you. It says divine presence. Very interesting. It's like this feeling of something divine. I know that sounds so cheesy to say, but like it is, you know, angels are watching you. You're divinely guided. You might be getting a lot of signs and synchronicities. You know, when I see that card, I think of the Intuit Oracle card that I have that says, you know, forces of the universe on there. It's the wheel of karma, or the wheel of fortune. You know, there's growth, there's expansion, there's good luck. And not only that, I mean, that is Sagittarius energy, and we are in Sagittarius season right now. But keep in mind that Mercury retrograde will sort of be between Capricorn and, of course, Sagittarius. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks. Now, Mercury retrograde will be from December 13th to January 1st. And I mentioned it in another video that, can you imagine those 3 weeks of the holidays, New Year's Eve, friends, family, potential alcohol if you partake. Oh, the miscommunications and people popping back up. It's going to be an interesting time. I don't want you to be in fear, but I want to remind you again, it's all about coming correct. So let's see what else we need to know here. Blooming, peak of perfection, bursting with life and empowered. So something is blooming here. Okay, I like it. Now let's take another one of the oracle cards here. This deck is called Whispers of Love, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you're hearing any whispers, but for some reason I was sort of guided to pick up this deck today. I have not used it in a long time. Here we go, romance. Wow. Lavish the one you love with personal attention and affection. Okay, but I just want to remind you, we're not here to chase anybody. Don't lavish anybody so much that you're chasing them. Okay, this is about, you know, leaning back and letting them come correct. So let's start and have this conversation. What we're going to do is look at what the divine feminine is thinking. What is the divine feminine thinking right now? The Knight of Swords. I choose my battles carefully. The divine feminine wants the divine masculine to know that she wants to move forward. She wants to move forward swiftly. She feels ready. At the same time, she's got to choose wisely and carefully, because they've gone rounds before and it didn't go the way she thought. And so now she's got to be wiser in the way she handles things. Okay, let's see what else she's thinking about. There's that Wheel of Fortune. Can't make it up. It's exactly what I was feeling. This card says, I trust whatever the universe brings me. And this is my point. We need to trust the process. I know that that sounds cheesy, but trusting the process is key here. So The divine feminine is thinking about allowing things to unfold, to choose carefully, but to also move onwards and upwards, okay? So let's see what the divine masculine is thinking about right now. Wow, the 4 of fire, 1111, prosperity, contentment, celebration. The divine masculine is going through an ascension process, just like the divine feminine, but I always want to remind you that the divine masculine is usually about 10 steps behind. So always have compassion. Now, it doesn't mean you wait for them. It means that you allow them to go through their own healing or their own ascension process. So the divine masculine is thinking about their, thinking about their ascension. And we have the magician, Mercury retrograde, manifestation, empowerment, and preparedness. They're preparing. They are preparing themselves. So, wow, I like that. Okay, let's see what they're feeling. What is the divine feminine feeling right now? What is the divine feminine feeling? A bit of a tower moment. And this is so interesting because the divine feminine knows that there's change happening. But in order to move forward swiftly, they need to let the old be in the past. And this says, I surrender and know how to go forward. I've been saying this, it's onwards and upwards, this kind of energy. And there's the 2 of Wands, leaving the comfort zone. I focus on what I want and make it happen. Now, I just want to clarify this. The divine feminine has to be very careful that she is not chasing and that she's not trying to force an outcome, because the more that happens, the more this union eludes her. This means I focus on what I want and make it happen in regards to her own spiritual growth and evolution. Okay? Very, very important. Now, in the divine masculine's feelings here, the Knight of Fire, confident, passionate, adventurous. This is a bit of hot and cold energy. I'm already seeing some repeating messages that came in through the weekly tarot and oracle forecast. We had the 2 of Wands and the Knight of Fire, or the Knight of Wands. You know, they're working on their confidence. The thing about them, though, is that the divine masculine has to maintain that energy, that motivation, that drive. And there's the 6 of Water. See, look, there are some things in the past that are still lingering. You know, memories, nostalgia, even some childhood wounds. On the other hand, the 6 of Water, the 6 of Cups, is a card of wishes coming true. Okay? Trying to manifest those wishes. Okay? There's this, like I said, this preparedness, this adventure, this prosperity, this ascension. There's a few things to work through, but essentially there is movement. Okay? Now, let's get into the oracle cards here to sort of feel out what the divine feminine wants to say based on those thoughts. Okay? So based on these thoughts, now what do they want to say? House and home. The divine feminine is telling the divine masculine, you feel like home. I want you home. At the same time, the divine feminine is saying, I have boundaries. I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to choose my battles carefully. You can't just waltz in here. It's got to be the divine masculine coming correct. And the divine feminine is thinking about social media and wanting that contact. It's like the divine feminine is asking the divine masculine to reach out. Very interesting. Okay. Let's see what the divine masculine wants to communicate based on their thoughts. That 4 of Wands and that Magician card, that communication. The Cherry Interesting. Recapturing innocence, flirtatious exchange. You might find that the divine masculine reaches out to communicate flirtatiously, but it's up to the divine feminine to take it with a grain of salt and to choose how she communicates in return. The balloons, letting go of heaviness. Rising higher. That's what that Four of Wands was all about, spiritual ascension. Very interesting. Okay, let's go take a look at the divine feminine and what they want to say in regards to their feelings. That the old energies need to stay in the past. That Two of Wands is about leaving the comfort zone. So the divine feminine is basically saying to the divine masculine, hey, listen, I've had a tower moment. I'm not the same person that I used to be. And I'm going to choose my battles wisely. Again, you better come correct. And there's the Crow, number 22. If you're seeing 22, so we've had 44, now 22. You know, here's the thing. If you notice that this Six of Water over here, it actually says on their memories, and this card says memories as well. I think both of you, the divine feminine and divine masculine, are feeling nostalgic and a pull backwards. But those memories are just memories. That's an old story of what used to be. You don't want to imagine your divine masculine or your divine feminine, whichever side you're on here, or if this is your own inner feminine and masculine. You don't want to imagine that energy in its old form. You want it in its new form. And there is something magical here, okay? Because it says magical power. I know that the two of you remember each other, but we want a new event or happening here. That's the key, because that coffin there says, you know, something is over. That old round, that old energy, that old story is over. We want new, right? That's why I always ask, are you in the old or are you in the new? And in the divine masculine's feelings, what is it that they want to say? What do they want to communicate to the divine feminine? Oh, I saw that Roses card, and that's romance, but there were too many cards that popped up underneath it. We're going to take note of the romance here. No question. No question, there's romance. You know, I think a lot of people, funny that I said no question, I think a lot of people right now are questioning. Was it all a dream? Was I imagining it? Am I crazy? No. It's never about love. It's never about the feelings. It's about whether somebody feels good enough about themselves to be able to give. Whether they've been healing, whether they've been doing the work. This is the key. Okay, there's the seashell. Open up to life. Calming and healing energy. Ongoing spiritual quest. You can definitely see that there is a theme here about rising up and ascension. But look, it says life and death cycle. And that's exactly what we were just talking about over here. So there's definitely some mirroring. And do you know what's interesting about mirroring? Yeah, look, see, I saw that there was a card that was popped over. And look, it's the mirror card. You know, it's like there's definitely this mirroring that's happening between these two. Now let's get another card here for what the divine masculine is feeling and wants to communicate, what they want to say. Coconut. Well, if you know my channel or you know me enough, you know that my online family has this word. It's coconut. If you know, you know. Interesting. Partying and having fun. Let your hair down. Booking a spontaneous trip. Holiday romance. Oh my. Now, I recognize that when they say holiday romance on this card, it could refer to, you know, like an actual trip to the Caribbean or to the beach or wherever. But when I hear holiday romance, we are going into the holidays. It says flirty time, and look at what we're talking about, flirtatious. This is my warning, okay? My caution to the divine feminines. You need to stay true to your boundaries, to letting old cycles go, to pick your battles, because yes, the divine masculine wishes to feel light and exchange some energy with you, okay? But, you know, this is about flirtatious, exchanging, you know, just be aware that the divine masculine needs to come correct, okay? Because I don't think it's ever a matter of whether someone cares, they like you, they love you. It's about whether they're truly ready, whether they're serious. Someone who comes correct, they're serious. That's Emperor energy. They don't play around. They come in, they have a plan, they take ownership of their actions, they communicate clearly, there's no messing around. And if you feel even the slightest hint of messing around, it's up to you, the divine feminine, to make those boundaries. You know, we talk about fool me once, okay, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. The divine feminine cannot let anything come into her energy that's not correct or that's not going to serve her, okay? So let's take a power of surrender card for each side here as some general advice. You know, what does the divine feminine need to surrender or surrender to? Surrender low self-esteem. You deserve success, love, and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. Absolutely. Okay. And the divine masculine over here. Surrender your desire to control people. Being over-controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. You know, it's interesting. My first thought when I saw this card was about sabotage. You know, I find that the divine masculine tends to sabotage the relationship when they don't feel good enough about themselves. They'll push the divine feminine away. But to be honest with all of you, I feel something a little bit different. I feel like these cards actually need to be reversed, because it is typical that the divine masculine feels inadequate. They don't feel good enough for the divine feminine. They run because they can't give, because they're dealing with things. Now, that doesn't mean the divine feminine doesn't struggle with low self-esteem. They do as well, because that's why the boundaries are so important here. Okay, self-worth, self-value, and self-respect. But it's more than likely that the divine feminine is the one that tries to control the outcome by chasing, overgiving, overdoing, and problem solving. So it's interesting. I mean, I think these cards are very interchangeable. I think that's something that is mirrored between the two. And honestly, it could fit on either side. But I would just say, as a gentle reminder, don't try to control the outcome. Know your boundaries and make sure that both of you are coming correct in order for this connection to ascend. Okay? Because yes, there is divine presence here, right? You're divinely guided. There is something blooming. And there is romance in the air, but we want to make sure that it's coming in the right form. So I really hope that this resonates with you. If you'd like to do a personal reading with me, the link is in my bio. If you'd like to get a 2024 Tarot and Oracle forecast, it's also available on my website. As always, thank you for listening to my readings. I appreciate a subscribe, a like, a comment. It means the world to me. So thank you very much, and I wish you a very, very productive Mercury retrograde.